Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again this Sunday morning. Such a pleasure to be here, and I want to say thank you so very much for stopping in at this Open Door Church. Today, my church is out here, and the wind is kind of blowing. The trees are out here. You're going to hear some leaves. I hope they don't disturb the message that I have for you. This message is a special message, as really all of them are. As spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, I like to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that as far as our system is concerned, I'm a social scientist. But as far as the message that I bring, as far as the ministry that I have, I've been set aside by a spiritual voice that has directed my path, that took me through different situations of life to bring me to an understanding of a message that says that God is the only power above each individual power. And collectively, God's power is the smartest power. And so the message that God wants you to know, that your existence on this earth is a special thing. And you, for one reason or another, are not familiar with that. And so I've been given charge to be trained to know the truth so that I can share with you the truth that I have been taught. This is not a seminary truth. This is a life teaching truth. What am I saying to you, ladies and gentlemen? I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the troubles that we have in America today is more than what we think they are. For quite some time, we've looked at it as being politics. We've looked at it as America being sort of special in a unique kind of way, that we had some references to morality. We kind of believed in it, and we believed that others believed in it. There might have been some underlying evils that rest in each of our closets, but we thought we would kind of subdue them by the power of law. And law has served its purpose to a certain degree. But we have learned now, ladies and gentlemen, that the law is not sufficient enough to do the right thing. We must recognize that doing right must be a choice, and nothing outside of a choice is sufficient. And so when I stand here today to tell you about the choices that we as human beings have made, we as people of God have made, they represent that we are further away from God than we've ever been. And yet we're closer and closer to God because we are traveling that path of evil, which indicates that as we move further away from the understanding of God, then that there is a light that is made clear to those who have been touched with a lust for wisdom to benefit that which is God. So to make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm here today to tell you is this. In America, we got a Republican Party and a Democratic Party. We've always thought they represented one thing. Today we see that the Democratic Party is probably still representing what it has always represented: hypocrisy. We see now that the Republican Party is now exposing itself. It used to be a party of hypocrisy. And those who are walking the trend now, being led by the voice of Donald Trump, that is not hypocrisy any longer. It's straight up evil. And when I say straight up evil, I'm saying that it references those things that have been considered as evil, like lying and cheating and stealing and killing and terror and all that kind of stuff, hatred and racism and bigotry. They're not even hiding that anymore. And they're saying to the nation, this is what we are about. And those Republicans who are not that far gone, who would still rather be a hypocrite, try to act like they care some, they got some moral gauge. Well, that is not sufficient, ladies and gentlemen, to defeat, to hold base. When you hear the Republicans say that the Democrats are liars, they are pointing to the hypocrisy that Democrats have. And they do have them. Democrats are not as bad when it comes down to how their policies are reflected on people of color. They're not as bad as the Republicans, but they're still bad. Republicans so see the Democrats as hypocrites, and the Democrats see Republicans as hypocrites. And you, the people, we the people, suffer at every end. It doesn't matter whether it's Republican or Democrat. We the people suffer at every end. You ever ask yourself why? It's because the system is designed to do just that. We got, right now, presently, the Republicans with Donald Trump trying to, you know what they're trying to do. I don't want to repeat it. And you got the Democrats who were saying, build back better, bring back better, build back better. Finding that without the support of those who now have come with evil, even those Republicans that have decided that they would not go as far as Trump is going, they still will not support the efforts of the Democrats. And you the people, we the people, left out here without those beautiful blessings that I come to tell you about. So what I wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Over on the Democrat side and over on the Republican side, you got people of God on both sides. One side is a liar, the other side is a liar. One side is a hypocrite, the other side is a hypocrite. And God on both sides. These people have told you and telling you every day that God is a hypocrite. That God is stupid. That is what people of religion is telling you when they find themselves on either side. And each one of them is saying, I'm over here because I'm righteous. I'm over on this side because I'm righteous. And your result of righteousness is exactly what we have in the world today. And I don't see anything righteous about that. I don't see anything loving about that. I don't see anything godly about that. So what's the problem? The problem is that God is missing. So my message here today is this. I am calling out all of the people in the United States of America who call themselves children of God to come out from amongst those who want to be God and are using you to build them up, to hold them up. I am calling on every last one of you who called yourself a child of God to come out from amongst those who disrespect and dishonor God. You might be a Christian. I'm calling you out from amongst these political parties and any faction that denies God. And if you're in any of these factions, it's because you yourself do not know the truth about God. It's what you know is hypocritical. If you're Muslim, you love God. I'm calling you out from amongst this political stuff. I'm calling you out from under this philosophy that says you got the right to go and kill in the name of God. I don't know how, well, I guess I do. It's the same old trick that everybody plays. Just lie, and you're going to find somebody that'll believe it. You're going to find somebody that will carry it out and substantiate it by the act. But when it comes down to love, who will stand up for that? Who will come out from amongst them and say, because I am a child of God, I am going to represent what God represents? Now, you might be a Republican, you might be a Democrat. That's all right with me. You can argue amongst yourself, but what I stand for is what God wants to happen. What does God want to happen? God wants the people in the United States of America to live free. God wants the people of America to be prosperous. God wants the people of America to live joyously. God wants the people of America, their dreams to come true. God wants the people of America to have to suffer for nothing, especially when it comes down to those things considered for survival, like food, clothing, and shelter. Never, ever would America suffer. That's what we, the children of God, advocate for. We don't stand on this side for what the Republicans talk about, or the Democrats talk about. We talk about what God talks about. And what does God talk about? That every last one of them have access to education, unlimited and unrestricted, that they might be better at whatever it is that they have been given to do. What else does God want us to talk about? Health care, from the womb to the tomb. Transportation, infrastructure, whatever it comes out of the mind, the imagination. Now you say, how in the world could all of that happen? God's plan is special. It is unique, but it's simple. It is so simple that there is not a boss anywhere in the world, that can beat it. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what we're dealing with before I give you God's simple plan. We're dealing with humankind who will not accept the fact that God is invisible, that God is a spirit that you cannot see, but yet is legitimate through the evidence of all existence. Now, humankind becomes selfish. They can't accept that. And so they want to replace God by putting man and their philosophy on the throne. Yes, there were times when people respected to a degree a certain standard of morality, but as time passed, it dissipated. And as it did, the evidence of it is when you became under the authority of kings and queens, pharaohs and Caesars, prime ministers and presidents, political parties. What are they saying? They are saying that whatever they have come up with, whatever system they've come up with, it is the system that you must abide by. For instance, when we talk about Americans, we talk about the Constitution of the United States. And people hold each other accountable for being true to the Constitution. If you're in a different country, you do likewise for whatever those instruments of protection. But when you become a child of God, when you recognize that there's something wrong with your system because of the pain and suffering that's happening around you, when you recognize that maybe you're feeling it or someone else is feeling it, and you see it, and because you see it, you feel it, and that something must be done about it. And when you start feeling that constantly, then all of a sudden something starts happening. Answers start revealing themselves. You start seeing solutions to problems. And if you do something about it, my God, the solutions come. So, when you have a democracy, you got people saying, we're going to use this as our measure of God. We go through whatever you understand democracy to be. But when you want to move to an authoritarian system, what you're saying is, now we're going to get rid of that because one person or one group wants total authority. Case in point, today the Republican parties are not advocating anything for you, the American people, except division between race, black and people of color, white and people of color. That's all they're talking about. What are they trying to do? To split it up so they can claim authority, take authority, and then use authority. They don't ask you what you want. They tell you what to do. Is that what's happening in Russia? Is that what's happening in China? I heard somewhere in China they're having these particular programs where they're teaching you, and this is nothing new, how to think, what the philosophy of the Chinese are, what the philosophy of the Americans are. Burning books with anything that's contrary to the philosophy of the new God. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. And so what we see here in America today is an attempt to get rid of that hypocrisy, which we've had out all of these ever since America has been here. They're saying get rid of it and let's go total evil, authoritarian. But you got a choice. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm calling all of the people of God that's scattered in all of these different groups that has nothing to do with God to come out from amongst them and give representation of the truth. Now, how do I say that God's plan called for all of you people in America, all of you people in North America, South America, all of you people all over the earth? What is God's plan to make available to you all of your dreams to come true? What is it? It's a simple thing, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it works like this. All of the resources necessary to do whatever you need done are available. Look what we've done already. Right now, every area of life is already basically being addressed as far as we know. Now, there's going to be some additional stuff as time passes. New ideas are going to come up, and we will do good new things. But right now, we are addressing these concerns. That's not the problem. The problem is the pain and suffering that others have because of the system that we live under. So I want you to know God's plan. God's plan is this. Everybody listen up. All of you have a gift. Something that's special that you have that coming to this earth gives you justification for existing. You bring with you that gift, and in exercising that gift, it gives you your greatest joy. Now, each one of these gifts are required in the process of producing and causing a manifestation of all of the goods and all of the services that we, the people, have determined is essential or essential for our satisfaction. Every last one of us play a major role in it. And not doing everything, just doing the thing that you've been given. And the thing that you've been given addresses all of the concerns of our lives. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, God got this thing beautiful. Now, when you exercise your gifts, like you're doing right now, but now many of you might be doing jobs that you don't like for the making money. But I'm talking about doing what you love to do. And now all of us who have never been working before, now getting what we need, if it's education, additional education, training, whatever it is, to prepare us and engaging us in these fields whereby our dreams rest. And in doing it like this, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize anew that by all of us engaging in this common effort to create for all of us, we own it. We own everything that's created by the hands of man. And what we own, we don't buy. We don't go into debt. We have no fees and all this kind of stuff. In fact, we don't have any need for money. We access resources as needed to do what we're doing for the purpose in which we're doing it. And that is for the peace and the prosperity and the freedom and the joy and the fulfillment of our dreams, our needs, our wants, and our desires met at our leisure. This is why I'm calling all of you who call yourselves children of God to come out from amongst this junk and listen to this message that I've been given to share with you. This message of freedom. Come out from amongst this junk. And I'm calling it junk. Why? Because the hell we're living in still exists, and whatever you're talking about is doing nothing to eradicate it. So I'm telling you, I've been given to tell you to come out from amongst this junk. And if you're children of God, speak for God. And what is God's message? The same thing that you talk about when you're talking about heaven. But nobody's talking about dying and going to heaven. If you're a child of God, if you know the Spirit of God, you want heaven right here today. And that means building it. And it's not a thing of violence. God is love. We understand that people who operate in violence, we understand that people of hate, they don't know better. They've been taught this stuff, and it is by the love of God we will change their minds. You nobody gonna try. The law is not gonna make them do right. You gotta teach them the benefit of righteousness. You gotta teach them how wonderful it is to be good, to be nice, to be great. And I tell you, your battle is over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a very good message for today. I don't think you're gonna hear that anyplace else, but I do hope that you don't just listen, but that you will share it with others after it means something to you. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. And I want to thank you once again. Until next time, have a good one.